Now, do you have any work experience advice trying to get into industry and looking for something over the summer? Where do you reckon would be best to try from? Gyms, physios, contacting coaches. I have a bit of an opinion on this.
I've no opinion on this.
You need to find the best gym within realistic distance for you. So probably like an hour from where you live. You need to find the best gym with the best coaches, and then you just need to go there and work for them for free for as long as you possibly can. Everyone has to do it. Everyone has to give their pound of flesh. You need to just be around those people. It doesn't have to be an internship program. It doesn't have to be you shadow coaching or anything like that. You literally just need to be in the company of other people. You will have to mop floors. You probably have to clean toilets, but you don't do some half-ass internship in a gym where you're taking some shitty PT's clients for him because he doesn't want to train them, and you get to coach them and you're getting experience and you might get €5 or €10 an hour. Go to places with actual intelligent coaches, work there for free as much as you possibly can, and you will gain a hell of a lot more than being like a pseudo PT for 3 or 4 months. It says, Biochem honors now studying physiotherapy. Any crossovers that you find interesting? Peptides ?
Is there any crossovers between physiotherapy and biochemistry?
Yeah.
No.
I think biochemistry is a good, you have to have an understanding of biochemistry before you would look at.
I would have hated to have done physiotherapy.
Oh my God.
I would have.
We shared a lot of modules in our second and third year with the physiotherapist.
Mm-hmm.
And there's an inherent hatred between our stream of study and physiotherapists.
Mm-hmm.
But I hated their course.
Anyone I knew doing physiotherapy as well was pretty sad about doing physiotherapy by the end of the 4th year. I don't know. There's no particular one jumping to my mind. Maybe I'm just maybe just tainted by seeing so many bad physios in real life, or some of them are just not useful. I know I can't think off the top of my head anything that springs to mind in regards to the crossover between the two of them. The only crossover I know I would do is I would never do it, but that's just entirely personal preference.
Okay, thoughts on doing power or muscle cleans and snatches with dumbbells if you're just a recreational lifter? They feel a lot more user friendly. The real issue here is what are you trying to get from power cleans and power snatches?
I feel like a D4 hit on the
if this on the neck is hilarious.
On the neck is so much better.
Okay, the issue here is what are you trying to get out of muscle cleans and muscle snatches? So if you're like a tennis player or a golfer or a rugby player and you want to get more powerful, get the powerful hip opening, get the triple extension you might get from the Olympic lifts, then by all means continue on, right? But a lot of the time what you're going to find is that you're severely limited. So in a movement like the power clean especially, you want to have a sufficient loading there where you're working within the power output bracket. So power output is like the maximum, or max power output is the maximum rate at which work can be done. So you might be just limited by the actual weight of the dumbbells or your ability to hold on to a heavy dumbbell. For a lot of people, holding on to a 45-kilo dumbbell in each hand while doing a hang power clean is going to be very, very difficult, whereas you'd easily be able to power clean 90 kilos. Obviously, if you're just a recreational weightlifter and you're thinking about practicing with dumbbells, don't. It's a terrible idea. There's no point in doing it.
You don't know if you can easily power clean 90 kilos.
No, I'm saying if somebody who can power clean 45 kilos in each hand can definitely easily.
Just assuming things about people know there's no.
So what they say about assuming.
Makes an ass like it. No,
Simba.
No. You said have a nice stream. That sounds like a threat.
Have a nice stream.
Yeah.
Simba says, catching a live stream finally. Hey.
Should the idea of specificity of movement and the fact that training for increased output, should you avoid sets and use high level fatigue, apply things like punching? Yes. Yes, absolutely.
So my God, Ian Jackson, you're on the ball.
You've won already.
Thank God.
This is what we've been fucking seeing in all of these cross and spider things is so you'd want to. So the issue there with punching, right, is that when you lose power, it's not that you have probably really it's not really that you train yourself to be slow, so you're running out of cardiovascular conditioning, right? But you need to build up that conditioning separate from the power training, So The probably thing as well, the power as well from punching is that the differences in power are fairly minute in terms of like people will think of this in terms of like back squatting or doing jumps. You can visibly see that difference in jumping out of a box, or you can see the difference in power cleaning 100 to 120. You can see you can visualize that power. But when you are doing stuff like boxing training stuff, whatever, when you're training specifically for your punching, you're trying to improve your punching and not your boxing as a whole, just your punching. Never ever do any plyometric or speed work, and that goes for punching under any kind of fatigue. You need to build up a tolerance to it. You won't get. You won't. The issue with power training, right, is that there's no super compensation in power training. It's not like strength, it's not muscular strength. It's not. It's not like building up muscle. What you're doing is the speed of the movement dictates which muscle fibers are recruited. So if your punching goes from a specific speed and you're recruiting type 2A fibers and you're punching, you will recruit those. But as soon as you get fatigued and your movement slows down, then you'll start looking at different types of fibers or different combinations of those. So the speed of movement that dictates what you're doing. So once you get fatigued, you stop recruiting those fibers. And then over time, then you start very, very slowly, not very slowly, but changing the portion of muscle fibers you have from fast twitch is what you want, because they're the most powerful because they punch the fastest. Slowly change those to type 1 slower fibers, which is no bueno.
And then Ian says, because typically all boxing training is done like it's just conditioning. That's due to poor education.
It's not the boxer's fault either.
No.
That's what we're saying. It's the very, 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 very,
archaic coaching
very
structures.
Poor coaching structures.
Not much is up, James. Juan.
Juan? Yeah, that's what I want to say.
Injury prevention for volleyball players, mostly quick direction changes, landing from a height, overall shoulder health. A lot of overhead in the game.
They get a lot of shoulder injuries in volleyball.
I'd assume so. They get a lot of shoulder injuries in badminton, and it's basically badminton without a racket. So what you need to start looking at here is you can do a fundamental movement screening, which will get a lot of the stuff in the lower body, particularly for the change of direction stuff, the landing from a height stuff. That's what you should be looking at, is like, what are the structures like? What is your stability like? So a fundamental movement screening will look at all of those things. You should be looking at overall strength. So making sure you have a strong set of legs under you. Having a double body weight squat would be great. And then things for overall shoulder health, like when you're getting in the gym, look at the actual range you have in your shoulder. Like, can you lock out your elbow overhead? A lot of people will be like quite restricted in the overhead position.
Men play volleyball.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they're huge as well. Have you ever seen professional volleyball players?
There's only one kind of volleyball I watch.
So yeah, when you're in the gym, making sure the ranges of motions are healthy, and then just training them applicably.
So on the quick change of directions and landing from height, so the big thing, if you look at like rugby studies, whatever, when it comes to change of direction or COD, as they like to say, for their made-up acronyms, is
all your dark friends never going to think you're calling Call of Duty.
Oh, how do you know what that is? Exactly. So GOD comes from strength training, so your ability to resist forces. So if you imagine when you're lunging in one direction and then you're trying to stop, you're essentially resisting the forces against your body from, your inertia or whatever. So the stronger you are, the more your ligaments and tendons will be able to resist that change, but also how much better you will be at changing that direction. So just general strength training and being stronger person will make you better at the COD stuff and make you more resilient to injury, but also better at volleyball. And same with landing from height. So we talked about depth jumps and stuff before. You should be doing plyometrics until the recommendation is at least 1.5 times or 2 times body weight squat to below parallel at least. So if you're strong enough, to do that, then you're in a good position to resist those changes. So being strong physically, especially in the lower body, will make a lot of difference to the first two, and then the movement thing.